Welcome to the Freewoman podcast, a space for all women who are ready to break free of the inauthentic life.
Hello.
Hi, Freewoman.
Welcome to our podcast.
Another week has gone by. Everyone's still here. You, me, Kat.
Yeah, we are still here. I'm actually feeling kind of optimistic today.
Don't say it.
I know. I was like, man, I feel so different this
Hope
week.
is dangerous.
I know. It is. It is dangerous. But I mean, when I do start to feel good or kind of joyful, I'm like, I don't know. Is it safe? Should we allow this to come in? Because it can just be pulled or taken away in a day or two or unexpectedly. So
yeah, it does have that feel when you have been through really hard things and then the joy starts to come back in. It's hard to trust it.
It is.
It's like, no, I've been fooled before.
Yeah. It's actually something I talk to my therapist about quite a bit. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to allow joy or happiness to come in again because it's so hard when it's taken away. I mean, I know it's a choice to work on being happy every day, but God, when you go through a lot of really hard stuff, it's hard to
It's one of the
be
least
happy.
talked about parts about healing is the difficulty of letting yourself be happy again.
Yeah, allowing yourself to kind of open up. Like I've been working on opening my heart up again when I do like meditations and stuff, but my heart's just like so tightly squeezed closed. And then I'll sometimes feel like start to open a little bit and then bloop, close back up.
It's like a flower that's afraid to unfurl.
It is.
We might have a late frost. Well, nature is such a beautiful teacher in that way, right? Because nature just goes for it. They're like, I don't know. It hit a certain temperature, the flowers are going to open, the trees are going to bud.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it does happen that frost comes in and kills everything.
But you know, at least it looked amazing before that frost came in.
Well, they're just like, it's just how it is.
I'm just going to glow. I'm going to show off and show my full potential. And then they just, they have to die. They just die.
Yeah, well, nature's really wise in that way. They don't try to control or overthink, right? It just follows its patterns. And guess what? It works out most of the time because they're all still here.
I think.
And we are still here too.
We are still here too. I think that's one of the reasons why I love going outside so much because there's this like calmness that comes in and then just watching how nature is doing its normal, natural thing and just the groundedness I feel too. But yeah, I just love sitting outside and watching like the little bugs or flowers or plants, or we have a little water nearby and I like to go and watch the ducks that are there, and they're just, they just make it look effortless.
Well, and a lot of these animals, they live a lot closer to death than we do. I think nature is such a beautiful teacher. Find your joy where you can. You don't know what the next moment will bring. You don't know if you're going to be the one culled from the herd. And so while the sun shines, frolic.
Yeah.
Or blossom.
It's almost like that teaching. Even in yoga, that is like the teaching, learning to live in the moment, learning to be in bliss.
Yeah.
And I mean, it sounds pretty easy, but it is pretty challenging when you start to live in the real raw world and you've been through hard stuff.
Well, it's just against everything that our society has been teaching us to do for the last several hundred years. And I mean, a lot of why humans have survived and evolved for the past while is because of our minds and our ability to anticipate and kind of outthink some problems. And so I think that it's more of a struggle for us than other animals to play this game of surrender.
Learning to let go. Yeah.
Control what you can and let go of the rest. And surrender to life.
God, I feel like you and I have been letting go and surrendering. I mean, I know for myself since my divorce, like 7 years, but like the last couple of years, it's even been more intense. It's like just let go of everything.
Yeah, I think that's where we start to struggle. It's kind of our Achilles heel as humans is we become attached, right? And it's the Buddhist saying that all pain comes from attachment. And so it's not that it's bad to love things or enjoy things, it's that we don't let them go when it's time to let go. And it creates pain in our life. And next thing you know, we have hoarded this whole pile of junk and
Just stuff.
sickness and rot because we're afraid to let go of something that is no longer bringing life and joy, right?
Yeah, it just weighs you down. I'm actually going through
That's
kind
kind of, you know, our last week has kind of been all about letting go.
yeah,
So that's why we're talking about
kind of
it.
talking about bringing it up.
It's close to the
It's close to the
surface.
surface where, so I have, we have all decided in this household that my family will be staying here permanently until, maybe another big change comes in. But it just was this decision of like, let's just stay here. This is home, and let's just start working on having some security.
Yeah.
And it feels great. But I have my entire life and house in a storage unit.
All your furniture, your memories, your
Yeah,
knickknacks.
all my stuff, stuff that things that I've saved because there's a memory attached to it. But I have decided that in order to move on with my life and to kind of ground down into this new home, this new space, I need to get rid of almost everything because why keep it in a storage unit? It's just going to get ruined. It's already been in there for a year and everything's covered in so much dust. So all last week I was surprised at how emotional I felt when I decided, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I just got really sad of letting go of like maybe the last little dream I had of like being on my own and having my own place and like the fantasy I created in my head of what I wanted to create for myself and my children. And now I'm like, well, I guess we're going in a different direction. So yeah, it's time to let some more stuff go. And it's a process. It's just a process to let go of your things and like the grief of letting the dream go and letting the things that I thought I had attachment to. It's like, do I really need it? Maybe not. Maybe it's time to still like let it go. We can start new another day and get
Well,
new things.
as you're talking, I just keep seeing the leaves behind us and how they're changing colors and starting to fall. And we just spent yesterday raking the yard and cleaning up a lot of the fall foliage. And I mean, trees let go of, I don't know, deciduous trees let go of all of their leaves, all of them, every fall. It's the only way they can survive.
And you know what? It looks beautiful when they do it. God, the colors when the
Yeah,
leaves change and then they just fall to the ground and
but then they have to face winter completely naked and exposed without any covering and wait for spring, hopefully, to come again.
hopefully.
But it's also, I mean, the way they survive, right? It's what they have to do to draw the energy into their roots. And when humans are going through deep losses or transformations or transitions, we also have to release a lot of the dead weight. We have to so we can float. It's kind of like if you're going through bumpy water, right? And you're like, see that you're going down the river, it's been pretty smooth, but you see these big churning tide pools up ahead. You got to drop some of the dead weight. Like, maybe I don't need this box of stuff.
You're just going to end up at the bottom of the river.
We have to be able to bump over these waves, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing is like you have to just let go, and it sounds so much easier than just actually going through it. But I think you have to allow yourself to feel the emotions and like feel the grief process of letting go. And it was interesting last week how I felt so like sad. I was like feeling that sadness come in. And then I was like working through some of my things and what I want to get rid of and looking at everything. And then I just got so angry. I was like, well, here's the anger part of like grief. And it takes time. You have to allow yourself to feel the feels.
Yeah, the thing with letting go is it's just essential for survival. If you're going through big shifts, big changes in your life, you cannot drag this giant steamboat with a bunch of other little boats behind it if you want to be able to pivot, if you want to be able to turn, if you want to be able to go over these really big waves. The light skiff is just going to move more smoothly. And it's painful because everybody wants transformation, right? They want to like expand. They want to become the thing. They want to let go of the pain. They don't want to be held back anymore by the trauma. But I think where a lot of people get hung up on is this realization that in order to go through that transformation, you're going to have to let go of pretty much everything. The bigger the transformation, the more you have to release.
Yeah, like you said, it's probably going to be like everything. And
that's been my experience.
Say mine too. And thankfully it didn't happen all at once because, man, I don't think I could have mentally and physically handled losing everything all at once. But
yeah, we want to try to straddle this fence post and maybe still be a little bit of a caterpillar so we can hang out with our caterpillar friends in our favorite caterpillar places, but also maybe be a little bit of a butterfly so we can like feel expansive and beautiful and light. And you just can't be both.
You can't be both. Yeah.
You just have to go through the transformation and let go of the caterpillar life.
Yeah, the other caterpillars are just going to hold you back. So you just gotta let go.
Yeah, they're not flying. They don't understand why you would want to, and your wings don't fit in their little caterpillar dens.
It's a really good way of putting it.
But the thing too with transformation and letting go is that you don't immediately just start flying like an expert. Butterflies, when they come out of their chrysalis, they sit there with their wet, wrinkled, goopy looking wings.
Yeah.
They're just useless and they're completely vulnerable while they just wait.
That also feels pretty raw. I think for me, when I've like gone through something really hard and like a transformation, when I'm sitting there after, like you said, coming out of the cocoon and you have your wings just trying to unfrivel and dry out. I think for me, I'm sitting with, can I trust people again? And can I trust myself? And because, I made choices in the past, which, at the time felt like right choices, but those choices led me down this really hard path and like awakening. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I want to go through that again. So
I think it's interesting how in our society, we equate a right choice with less pain. Mm-hmm. Where, for example, I left the Mormon church when I was 20 years old, and I was pregnant with my first. And I left the Mormon church, the church I had been raised in my whole life. 1,000,000% a right choice. Did it lead to less pain? Not in the short run. Not in the short run.
Yeah, because it's like you have to find out. Well, first you have to like let go of that version of you.
Well, there's all like that dead caterpillar life. Yeah. All my dead caterpillar friends.
Yeah. And then you have like this new life.
And my shriveled, ugly butterfly wings that don't work. And then there were just layer after layer after layer of things associated with that had to be broken down, mm-hmm. that had to be turned into beautiful fertilizer for my beautiful new life to bloom. But, the breaking down part, the mulch at the compost heap was awful. That I would not recommend. I mean, I do recommend, but you have to really want it,
Just know that true, awakenings are not pretty.
So I think it's interesting when people are like, oh, you must have made the wrong choice because now there's all this discomfort in your life. There's not immediate success, immediate breakthrough, immediate financial boon. But that has not been true for me. I see people making good choices all the time that do lead to discomfort, that lead to the path less trod, right?
Well, I guess for me, like, especially like going back to maybe next year, or like how I was saying, like, I had made choices and these choices led me through this like really hard experience in my life. But I was making choices that would lead me down that path because I was like, I want to shift. I want to change. I don't want to do the same patterns anymore. I want to, yes, maybe physically and financially and what works in this world, I have to let go of, but I was making choices so that things that would help me internally, me to grow, me to be the version I want to be. But it was ugly and it was painful and there was a lot of crying.
Yeah, the choices that honor yourself are the most right choices that you can make, right? That's like honoring you, respecting your journey and your value as a human being and your deservingness of good things and of people who respect you and treat you well. It's amazing how much chaos and destruction that can wreak in a life. How few people are willing to step into that vibration, that interaction, that level of respect with you. I have found that 95% of people seek out relationships that are beneficial to them. Like they are going to get something out of it, whether it's a status thing, an ego stroke, a financial gain, I think career boost.
Yeah, I think for me as a woman, like I was tempted to like go into a relationship again that I knew I was just going to be taken care of. Yeah. And I wouldn't have to worry about things again or financially stable, even if I didn't really completely like the guy or he didn't have maybe all the expectations I had of him weren't there. I was like, it's okay. Like,
he's not meeting the standards you've set for yourself, but hey, he can pay the bills. Okay.
Yeah. So, I tried that like once or twice and I was like, no, I'd rather be poor.
I like myself too much.
I like myself
to be
too
with
much.
Someone like that.
I tried it, I thought maybe to have that security again, let's try and see if this will work. And then ultimately it was just a big no. I was like, I've grown too much to do that again.
Yeah. And so it is interesting to me how we see success and how we view successful people in our culture. Because I know plenty of people that have lots of status, lots of accolades, the appearance of what we would say is success. And I see them as absolutely unhappy and inauthentic and chasing approval from others.
Yeah, just pretending, wearing masks. And that to me now is not success at all.
And it's that fear of going through the process, right? That butterfly cliche of letting go of the old life. And so the caterpillars will put fake wings on themselves and say, look at me, I have done the work.
No.
But it's all pretend. It's all an illusion.
I
and
love
then
that.
Our culture looks at them and says, wow, they're so successful. Look at them. They became a butterfly without any of the loss or the pain.
I love the image of about a bunch of caterpillars going around with like glued on wings and like kind of hanging off. And we're looking at them like, that doesn't look right.
And then meanwhile, we're over here on this branch with our shriveled wings dripping, looking at all these caterpillars with their fake wings. And everyone's like, that looks like success over there. You guys look like you need to figure things out. Your wings are kind of crappy looking.
You still look like you're going through something rough. And we're like, well, we kind of are.
It is. Well, the authentic life, the life where you honor yourself and choose yourself like it's a sacred path. It is a sacred path. It is a it's messy and it's not glorifying or egotistical. It's
I
just
think that's why most people avoid it and don't do
it's
it.
just real and raw, and next thing you know, you're emptying out your storage unit of dreams and having to sort through everything that you thought would be to accept what is.
Yeah, and then just ugly crying while you're doing it and just really angry that this is, you thought you were doing all these things, you're making all these choices for yourself, and you thought you were going to have something at the end of the rainbow, this pot of gold that you're kind of promised when you do the hard work, and then you just realize, oh no, it's just more letting go.
It's just more hard work.
It's just more hard
Well,
work.
there is very much that attitude of where's my reward? Like, I did the hard things. Surely there must be a reward for this. But the reward is just that you get to be free of toxic people and you get to live in your authenticity. And that sometimes doesn't feel like a lot of a reward when you are losing everything and poor and struggling. But it is so much more than most people have.
It is. I would rather have like 2 or 3 authentic friends who I even consider like my family now than having a whole herd of friends that I had before who
That will stampede you at the drop of a hat.
yeah, and I've learned it was much more of a superficial friendship than a real authentic friendship. And for me too, I think the thing I have learned by going, or the thing that I have, the gift that I've gotten from going through all this really hard stuff is all the peace. Like I just feel at peace now. I'm not stressed about things that I used to be stressed about. And now because I've had to let go of everything, I have a place that I can call home and it feels like home. So, there are rewards. Maybe there's not a whole pot of gold like I thought there was going to be.
Rich and famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Living the high life, which I think is what a lot of people are hoping for. How many people have said they did an ayahuasca journey or a spiritual retreat so they could have this career breakthrough, when really it's like, no, spiritual work and inner work is kind of just not glamorous.
It's not. You probably end up losing your career, like realizing that the path you were going down was not your authentic
Or
path.
that the marriage you're in is not your authentic relationship, or all of these, or that your family of origin, that you have to do these hard things, cut these people out of your life. It's not glamorous. It's not glorious. It's a loss-filled path. But I have found that, like you said, the peace, and I've noticed when I've had to go back into interactions with people from my past that I've cut off or minimized contact with because of the way I feel when I'm around them. It's been very eye-opening when I go back into those relationships, even if it's just for a few hours, how drained I feel, how exhausted I feel, how it's like, I don't even know. I can't even comprehend how I endured that for years and years and years.
Yeah, that's the thing is like when you start
It's like you're trying to go down the river and you're dragging an anchor behind you.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel when you've created a peaceful environment for yourself, you stopped being around people who maybe pull energy from you, or who are just not like real, the people wearing masks or the caterpillars with the glued on butterflies, like how much energy it takes from you to be around them.
The little jabs, the digs they give, and just the fact that everything has to come back to them and be about them all the time.
And then you're like, well, you know what? I actually don't have to do this anymore. I love the confidence that comes with this too. It's like, I don't have to do this. You can try to communicate with if it's your family, communicate like what your boundaries are, how you're feeling. But if they are not able to see you or even acknowledge what you're trying to create for like a boundary or how you feel about being around them, I mean, that just right there gives you an answer. If they
Well, I have been shocked because healing confidence has been such a big part of my journey since my divorce from my abusive relationship, because abusive relationships, they just like tear you down into the smallest of pieces. And so it's been this journey of rebuilding myself, discovering who I am, what I enjoy, what I love, what brings me happiness and brings me into alignment and flow, but also feelings of worthiness, of I deserve to take up space, I deserve to be prioritized at times, to have needs, to matter, to rest when I'm sick, all of these really basic human needs, recognizing that my needs are valid and that I have this confidence that I've been seeking to unearth, right? To pull out of this rubble of abuse and trauma, this confidence in myself that I can pursue my dreams, that I can build things, that I can create joyful things in the world. But I have been so amazed. It was such a surprise that a key component of healing my confidence was no longer being around people who made me feel small, whether intentionally or unintentionally. They minimize me, they talk down to me, and they don't see my dreams as having value or worth, and my talents as something that's either a threat or an intrusion on their own glorious journey, right? And so I never in a million years thought, oh, to heal my confidence, I need to cut out 80% of people that I am around.
Yeah, I never thought that either.
Because they just make me feel like I can't. They put little bits of self-doubt. It's dragging the anchor down the river, right?
Well, have you ever noticed too that, like, I'm much more aware of this now, is like when I'm around certain people or in certain social groups, which I don't even really care to do much of that anymore, but it's almost like I used to switch myself to conform to the people I was around to make them feel comfortable.
Right. We're trained to do that.
Yeah.
That's social skills. Yeah.
And then that's what awakening kind of is like, why do I have to keep minimizing myself to make you feel comfortable? And I noticed this so much with like my sister-in-laws. Like I always felt like just even the way I came into the room, if I was dressed a certain way, if I talked about what I was doing, if I was trying to build myself up, this kind of goes along with exactly what you were just saying. I was like, I am so sorry I'm making you feel uncomfortable. I will try to minimize myself or stay quiet or just not.
I'll try not to be so happy or so excited or so beautiful or so talented or dreaming. I'll just make sure everything about me is not impressive so that you won't be triggered.
I don't want to trigger you. I'm sorry I'm triggering you. But I think that going through all of this has made me realize, you know what? If you're triggered, that is for you to figure out. That is your thing. It is not my fault. And it's like having that confidence of, I'm going to show up as myself. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to say what is on my mind. And if it bothers you, I'm not sorry.
Well, here's the thing, free woman. It is the parts of you that are the most magical, that are the most sparkly, that bring you the most joy, that will trigger the shit out of the people around you.
It will.
And it takes a very healed, self-aware person to not be triggered when your sparkle shows up. It's just our natural insecurities come to the surface when we see another woman being beautiful and sparkly. And so in order to honor your joyfulness, the things that light you up, the things that make you happy to wake up in the morning, in order to embody those, you are going to have to create distance from people that have not done their own work.
You will. And you just have to create those boundaries. It's like you have
self-preservation so that you can blossom like nature, right?
Give yourself space to blossom.
If the weeds are crowding in, you don't have room to grow.
That is a great way to put it. Yeah.
maybe once you've grown a little bit, you'll be strong enough, big enough to not let the weeds make you cow. But until then, you've got to have them out of your life.
Well, also, let's say you're
Minimal,
trying to attract something. You're trying to attract maybe a person, or you're trying to attract like something new into your life. How are you going to attract what is truly at what you are, like your level, like this beautiful thing that you are inside, if you're having to hide it all the time? I mean, obviously, yes, you want to protect yourself from the weeds.
Yeah, some of those weeds are nasty. They will choke you out. But some of them also, they might not choke you out, but they're just taking up space. It's space that you're not able to grow into because they're crowding you with their prickers.
So you just have to find the courage to push those weeds aside.
Pull them out by the roots.
Pull them out by the roots and just shine bright and be as fabulous as you want to be. I'm so tired of feeling like having to minimize myself to make others feel comfortable.
Well, we've been taught as women especially, but I know boys receive this to a point as well. This nice, this let don't be too big. Other people need room too. Well, you know what? Other people can go dig their own compost pile with their own trauma that they have alchemized. This is my compost pile.
This is my fertilizer.
And I don't want to share it with all of the weeds.
I worked really hard to get this compost. You know how many times I had to die?
Oh my gosh. You know how many things I had to lose and give away? And just all of that deep, soulful work. And I think there is a lot of that happening because people don't want to do their own deep, soulful work because it sucks so much. So they just kind of like tiptoe their little roots over into your pile.
And they try to absorb your very nutrient-rich fertilizer and become what you are. No more. We're going to spray weed killer on them and keep them away.
Nature teaches this so beautifully. If the plant needs to grow, if it wants to grow, if you want the plant to thrive, then you have to pull out the ones you don't want growing there. And it's the same with people. It's the same with things. In order to make room in your garden for all those beautiful dreams that you have to let go of the stuff.
Yeah.
That is not serving.
I mean, my kind of motto is if I've had it in boxes for 2 years, it's time to let it go.
Yeah.
If the weed is not serving purpose in the garden, then it's time to go.
We are not getting nutrition from this. It is just taking up space.
Yeah, but kind of going back to how you said you got to let it go to allow this other abundant garden to grow. That's what I'm kind of telling myself with all the things that's in my storage unit. I'm like, I dreamed of having a home to live in, a family, and a place for my kids, and it didn't come in the way I thought. I've been so surprised, but I am so grateful that my manifestations come in. So now it's time to just let go of the things that are going to hold me down, or we don't need to keep it hidden in a corner anymore and maybe hope one day we'll need it again.
Well, that's the thing with letting go of control. Like we were saying, we hang on to these things because of our attachment, because of our ideas, our dreams that we had. It's almost like this fuzzy little fungus growing all over them. And we have to release it because if it's not in flow, it's, for one, creating blockages for the dreams to come in an alternative way. A lot of times the things that we really, it's that old saying, right? God closes a door, opens a window. Things come in unexpected ways. And when we have all this junk creating all of these blockages in the river, things can't come in. They can't flow in new and exciting, unexpected ways, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why it's good to just pause, like how nature just takes us time to do something. And it's great to pause and reflect. That's something I've done, pretty regularly. I have like a little ritual or time I put aside for myself where I kind of journal, or I even just sit with, well, what was it that we were manifesting and how has it shown up for me? And that's when I realized, oh wow, everything I was asking for is here. It's just not the way I thought it was going to be. But I'm like feeling joyful, like the joyfulness is there, the laughter is there, the kids are happy, we're safe, we have a home, and it's like, okay, you know what? Let's do the final thing. Let's just get rid of the little debris that's left. So that way we can move on with our life and allow the next thing to come in.
Yeah, one of the exercises I like to do that's been really beneficial for me is sitting with my future self.
Oh, that's fun.
And so imagine the woman that I want to be in 5 years and 10 years, this like powerful, embodied, feminine, confident woman. And it's funny to then bring that into my current patterns and be like, oh yeah, no, these things do not honor her. This is not something a woman like that would let in her space. And this is not something I would ever put, like in a situation I would ever put her in. Like I would never put her in a place where she's going to be ridiculed, belittled, mocked, disrespected.
Oh, I really love how you do that.
And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why do we think we can tolerate this now and become her in the future? We can't. And so that is an exercise I really recommend.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to start doing that.
So I've had some surprising epiphanies and breakthroughs doing that. And, you know, a few people have been cut out of my life because of that one.
Your future self is like, thank you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, no. We are not going to be doing that if we want to be this.
Yeah. Sometimes I tell myself that too. I'm like, what can we do now that my future self will be like, thank you for getting that done and doing it.
Oh, man. I mean, I already have conversations with my past self where I'm like, thank you for doing that one. Like, that was brutal. You know, like we talked about, wow, compost pile, total disintegration, like painful to go through. But look at what we're able to create now because we let go of that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm like, man, where would I be right now if I didn't let go of what I was like the people that I had to let go of. I'm like, or just like even the relationships, the marriage, or well, I'd be dead. I would be so dead inside. Same. I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe we would have became an alcoholic or something.
Though, like when I was going through it, like when I was making the decision to leave my husband, I really didn't have much hope. I wasn't 1,000% sure that it was the right choice. It just felt like I had to do it. I just had to do it. And now when I look back, I was just like, wow, that situation was so much worse than we realized at the time. It's so much more dangerous than I realized at the time because I had been minimizing and numbing out for so long. But I just look at past self and I'm like, wow, you badass woman. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because like we're here today, like you said, probably alive today because of what she did. And so, like you said, connecting with future, but also connecting with past selves can be such an empowering thing.
Yeah, I like connecting, doing past life, or not past life, but past self stuff, especially like inner child work. I really, really love doing that work and just going to that little me that didn't receive the emotional support or just acknowledgement that she needed at that time, and now I can go in there and be the adult, and
I know it's that time of year where the flies are being obnoxious. Yeah, it's that something that's come up this week for both of us is we found old pictures and old items from when we were kids, and some of these I had never even seen. They had my parents put them in a box when I was 3-4 years old, and I just unearthed them this week. Well, last week. And it was such a trippy experience because, you have these memories, but it's so long ago and you're so young. And it's just like in your head kicking around. So you don't know how much of it is your childlike filling in of details versus reality. And then you see the pictures and you're like, oh no, that's who I was.
Yeah, some of the pictures have been really fun to look at. Some of the artwork I did too. I kept one of them that I colored. I used to love coloring when I was a kid. And I think it was maybe first or second grade, we had to color a leprechaun. And I just really love leprechauns and like rainbows. So I remember at that age, like taking my time and making it really beautiful. And then I drew hearts all over it around the edge of it. And I won a prize for it. I won the best picture in class. And I also remember the ridicule I got from other kids that I won. They were like jealous that I won. They're like, oh, it's because she drew hearts around it. Yeah. Oh, it's because she made it so colorful.
You know, things don't really change when you're 40 versus when you're in elementary school.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, even then. And I remember feeling like going into myself and feeling like, oh, you made it too colorful. You made it too bright. And I have struggled with being my true self probably up until like, I mean, even now I still have insecurities of like showing who I am and the brightness, because I have, as a reminder of looking at that picture, I'm like, oh, I was being picked on for it and I won and I should have been celebrated. But most of the classmates were like, oh, she shouldn't have won. It's because she did this. Oh, it's really not that pretty. And I just remember feeling embarrassed too. And I'm like, man, thank you for the reminder that insecurity is still there. It's something I'm still working on. But I also told myself, I'm like, we did do a great job. Good job, us. Like, you did. We deserved to win because look how pretty this looks.
Yeah, it's crazy how many of those things that happen that are just such small things when we're kids, but they leave such a deep impact.
Yeah, I'm just living with that my whole life.
It's like still with you.
Stop trying so hard. People really don't like it when you make things look that pretty. So I've been trying to not be too pretty, too bright and colorful and happy and joyful. I mean, now I can say I really don't care as much. I mean, I do still get insecure if somebody like feels uncomfortable around me, but I think I'm too tired to care now.
Well, it's just a process too. Like I said, if the abuse, but I mean, you don't even have to necessarily experience that abuse from a romantic partner. It can come in so many forms. It can just be like normal everyday trauma of being alive. And as you start to do the healing work, it's like you're digging through the rubble.
Oh my
gosh. And you're
gosh.
trying to find the pieces of yourself, who your authentic self is. And you're also trying to like rebuild like this confidence, because I think that everybody from elementary school forward, there's this like tearing down of our confidence in order that we can make other people comfortable, that we can fit this mold rather than just be who we authentically are.
Well, I've just decided that I'm going to be who I am now, and the people who are comfortable being around me obviously are going to stay in my circle, and by being who I am is going to bring in people like that.
Yeah.
It's like, that is now my goal. That is my goal now. I'm not going to try to conform or make others feel comfortable. I mean, I do care about other people if I am making them uncomfortable because I'm not being mindful about how, if I'm saying something that's rude, but I'm talking about, just being myself makes someone feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to let that weigh me down like it used to.
Yeah. Well, it's the journey of self-love, which is something else that a lot of people talk about, but it's really just...
I know.
Even like how people talk about inner child work. And sometimes I hear people, I'm like, I don't know if you're really doing it.
The inner child stuff.
You seem like you still are hanging on to too many things in your life. I'm thinking maybe you're a caterpillar with wings taped on.
Yeah.
Because it's just so deep. It is so deep.
And it's not just like a one and done thing.
No.
Like this is like
lifelong.
Like this is like I am weekly working on these things with a therapist and then on my own. And then, I sometimes I'm like, I just need to be human for a few days. Let's not like try to go inward and look at everything all the time.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to be human for a while and pay bills and, take care of children and feed people.
Yeah.
It's like you can't always be in the depths of the unconscious.
Yeah. It's not healthy to do that.
But even accessing the unconscious, I mean, it can be really confusing. Childhood memories are a good example of like, well, what is it that I told myself versus what is real versus what other people told me was real. And so that's why it was so fun finding the pictures and like seeing which parts of me have always been there and are still there now. Like the writing of stories. I wrote so many stories then, and I have really found a lot of healing through writing as an adult as well. But also the silliness. I found a preschool picture where I was just being so cute and so silly. And I'm like, man, that was not tolerated in my family. That was very triggering for my family, who were very rigid, practical, proper people. And I was this silly little girl. And then also seeing that silly face is one that my current 3-year-old makes. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just love when he does that. I love that part of him. And maybe that part of him came from me.
Yeah. I know. It is kind of fun to go through stuff now as a mother. I've told you this one before, but my family has this weird thing of like, always reminded me of what an ugly baby I was.
Yeah, it's so weird that they do that. Anyways, it's usually when someone compliments me, they have to remind. I mean, some of my babies were uglier than others, but it's not something I talk about.
Yeah,
to them.
But so I showed,
or at all.
Yeah. So I showed Jayenna a picture of me when I was a baby. I'm like, well, here I am. This is the ugly baby. And I was looking at her. I was like, oh, my daughter actually looks a lot like me in this picture. And I'm like, I think my daughter is adorable. And
you just looked like a cute little chubby baby.
Yeah, I did, with dark hair. And I was like, I looked just like a normal baby. But, like just going through this process now as an adult and like having someone to talk to about it and being like, there's something there with my family. And just since I was little, they had to like put me down for some reason, and still, and
same.
And that's why you just choose to walk away.
Yeah, I think that it's not even, obviously it's not conscious. There is just something in certain family dynamics that you represent what they weren't allowed to be or what their insecurities are. And I mean, even as a mother, I can say some of my relationships with my kids have been easier than others because of different personalities. And it's why you try to be really conscious as parents so you don't do that.
Yeah.
But, the last generation, they didn't have a lot of self-awareness or
there is very minimal
mental health help.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us, us middle-aged women right now, we grew up in homes where those sparkly, unique, unusual parts of ourselves were minimized or outright demonized.
Yeah. It was just this feeling of don't let her get too big. Don't let her think she's too good. Because, we have a system in our family and it needs to stay that way.
Yeah. There is a way that we have of doing things that works. And this little odd nut over here is really messing things up.
Or, we just want to keep her here so we can use her sparkle.
We really prefer everything black and white. She keeps putting color everywhere.
Well, I gathered up all my sparkle and walked away.
Yeah, it is. It really is just the worst situation where not only are they demonizing and trivializing, but then they're also taking advantage of the gifts. The sparkle, the life force, like your compost pile, right? They're happy to put their roots down into your compost pile that you've worked so hard on, while also minimizing you who is trying to grow there.
Yeah, so it's almost like it's okay for you to have these things, but you just do them amongst us. And we'll let you know how much you can do and how great or small it is.
Yeah, do it to make us look good.
Yeah, it's kind of narcissistic.
Yeah. Which is why you have to let go of people, weeds.
Yeah, let go of the weeds.
The life's draining individuals in your life if you want to be able to blossom. I know that it's not always easy and straightforward. I know that it is a windy road, but kind of like we were saying, if you commit to the path of healing and authenticity, things will start to fall away, and you will be surprised where one door closes and a window opens. It comes in roundabout ways if you set the intention.
Yeah, I think that that's why I've had to learn to just stop trying to force.
You wanted a home. Well, now you have a home.
I got a home. I got the windows I wished for. I've got the animals I wished for, the land. My kids are so happy when they're here. I think most of the time. But I have seen such a shift in my kids as well. And just like feeling like safe. I think
and
that was
family.
And family. And I think that was another thing I was really wanting. I'm like, I want to feel like I'm safe and I'm secure.
It was like you had to release and surrender. You had to let go of, go through your bankruptcy, move into the basement. You had to like go through this whole process without seeing how it was going to come in. And then it just in the most unexpected ways is like, actually, here it is.
Yeah, I have learned to not force and to let go. To me, I actually will imagine I go into the energy, I'll close my eyes and I'll visualize like opening out my hands, not to control what's going to come in or what my next step is. And when I've done that, it's been just really cool how everything just falls into place. And, sometimes
it's not, this glamorous.
No, it's not.
You're not a millionaire.
No, oh no.
You're not famous.
No, oh no.
You didn't become a pop singer.
No, nope.
But it has brought, like you said, peace, because all of the inauthenticity has been shed.
It has. And it's given me, even though my body got really sick from going through all of this, now that I'm starting to heal, it's given me time and space to think about, well, who am I now? And like, who am I after all of that? And what do I really want in life? And it's been giving me time and space to think and to feel, and also it's just given me a lot of time and space to do a lot of inner work that before I could not even do. So that has just been another gift. And then it's been fun. It was kind of fun that we found our kids stuff last week, because I realized through all my art and like coloring stuff, I was like, God, I really did love coloring. And that was one of the things I started doing this year to help me to relax and not overthink what was my next step and how I'm going to do it all. Is I was like, well, I feel like my inner child wants to color, and I'm going to be an adult person and go buy crayons and colored pencils and markers, and we're just going to start coloring again. And it was
be joyful.
And it was really helpful to just like let time go, not worry about time, and just be creative.
There's a specific kind of joy in a brand new box of crayons that every adult knows.
They just don't say it out loud. Well,
we just tell ourselves that we're not supposed to do that anymore. But guess what? I've got $6 and I can get myself the big old box of crayons.
Brand new. I know, the big box that I couldn't get when I was a kid because they would just buy the small one.
For some reason, they always got the small one.
Yeah, I did get a huge box of crayons for Christmas one year. And I took those with me even when I moved at 18 years old in my suitcase to Florida.
Yeah.
And the only reason I still don't have them is because we put them in the attic and they melted.
Oh, that's sad. How sad.
Yeah, but
isn't that a great symbol?
It
is. Yeah, but I also don't want to minimize how hard the letting go part is. Mm-hmm. So if you're kind of playing around with this idea, free woman, of shifting things in your life, of wanting to live more authentically, of wanting to let go of some things, yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be emotional. It's not going to be glamorous. People you thought were going to be there won't. And you're just going to have to do it because you are going to choose yourself over everything else. You are going to choose to love yourself even if it's this hard.
Yeah, just ask yourself. When I started to kind of clean house, I guess you can say, like deciding if I should go no contact with my family, go in no contact with certain people, or start pulling myself away from certain friendships, I would sit with it and I'd be like, does this bring me joy? Do I feel at peace when I'm with this person, around this person? And the same thing with like objects or things. And, I would just sit with it. And the answer would come in and I would be like, no, I do not feel at peace. I am not feeling joy. And that was like my new, like, kind of like thing I wrote down. If I do not feel peace with it, if I do not feel joy, we are going to not let it come in, because we are trying to create a space for myself to feel calm, because I'm going through so much hard things. And if I don't feel calm or at peace, I'm not going to be able to get through stuff. And that's what I did. And it worked. It helped. And I remember the first Thanksgiving where it was just me and my kids. I didn't do the family stuff anymore. And, I discussed it with my kids, what's going on, how I'm handling things. And they were on board with me. And I love my kids so much because they have just like been by my side through this whole thing. And they trust me and they listen to me and they're seeing it too. But that was like such a great Thanksgiving. It was easy too. We didn't have to do all the work. Mm-hmm. And, I'm like, what kind of foods do we want? How do we want to do it? And we ended up just relaxing all day too and watching shows and snuggling. And I think one of my favorite Thanksgivings I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to decide that your peace and that honoring yourself, honoring that woman, that future woman that you're envisioning, is deserving of doing the hard things, of making the sacrifices, of going through the discomfort, of closing a door before you can see another opening. I have found time and time again that life asks me to close doors before showing me what is coming next. There has to be a season of sitting with your branches empty, of sitting in the winter before spring comes. You have to shed your leaves, you have to release, and then you have to wait. But time and again, I have found that if I am honoring myself in the process, in the releasing, that something beautiful always comes in.
I really love that. I have nothing more to say. That was beautiful. That is exactly what it's like. And I think the waiting, when the branches are
winter
dead,
sucks.
Winter is hard. It is a really hard place for a lot of people.
Sometimes it's record snowfall. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's record-breaking lows and frost.
Really short days, not as much sunlight, but
sometimes you lose a branch or two.
Yeah, but it's finding ways to have joy and happiness even in that. And like you said, kind of connecting with like your future self.
Oh, yeah. And that sky is so glorious in the dead of winter. The stars, the crispness.
So beautiful.
The way that the frost will just coat the trees and glitter.
I love when the snow is
glittery. There are moments of joy even in the darkest nights.
And I feel like I get really great sleep in the winter. So
that's true too.
So rest is necessary for you to bud and start growing something else.
I'm just wanting to honor that it is hard. It is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I've had to go through a few phases of that. And it, like we've talked about before, the more you grow into the process of sometimes we shed and sometimes we wait and sometimes things grow, the easier it is to trust. But it's not fun. I wouldn't say it's a trip to Disneyland.
No.
I wouldn't say that it's glamorous. I wouldn't recommend it lightheartedly to people.
Well, I think for me, like when I know winter's coming, it's like, okay, well, we know what to do now. We know how to...
You pull that energy down into your roots.
We know how to survive this.
And
We've done it a few times.
When the stars come out and the beautiful frost glitters, you just soak that up while you can.
Yeah, and like you said, you know now that a door has to close, and once it's closed, then you can kind of see what the next thing is.
Yeah.
But it's like once you've done it quite a few times, it's a lot more easy to just surrender into that.
To the process.
To the process. So if you're going through this for your first time, or maybe your second or third.
Just a harder round. It's just a little bit of a deeper winter this time than you've ever been through.
That lasts a couple years.
It's like, oh, it's still snowing. Okay.
Yeah. I have also kind of seen it as like the Tower card in tarot, like in order for this new thing to come in, it's like everything just has to crumble and be destroyed.
It's the forest fire, so the new buds can grow, and some things in the forest won't grow without that fire. It's part of the process.
But then the soil is just so rich. So,
Though I have found that the winter phase is also the most honest. When the branches are bare, there is no hiding. And that's part of what's so uncomfortable about it, is all of your protective coping mechanisms, the way you kind of softened the truth, softened reality with things or distractions or prettiness. It's just gone, and everything's just laid bare, and you're not the only one who's able to see it. It kind of feels like you're exposed to the world in your nakedness.
Well, I mean, that's how you find out who people really are and what their true colors are, and if people are going to be there. That's
how you find out who you really are too.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I didn't realize that we had this snaggly old branch over here. We might need to shed that. We might need some pruning.
It might hurt a little to prune it, but you'll look better afterwards.
Yeah, it's not what we hoped. We had dreams for that branch. we thought the kids would put a tire swing on it and there'd be so many memories. But guess what? It's dead now. It's diseased. There's bugs in it.
Just let it go. That thing is going to make you sick.
Yeah, exactly. And so it is a sort of an assessing period too, which is part of why it's so uncomfortable, because you're kind of left with the reality of what is as you begin to shed with the bare facts of the situation.
And it's hard to be that raw in front of people, and people are like, how are you?
Gosh,
and
it's
I'm
hard
like,
to be that raw with myself sometimes, where I'm like, what were my intentions in this situation? Where was my ego maybe getting a little out of whack?
I know.
Where were maybe some of those childhood coping mechanisms coming through, some of those unhealthy patterns? Yeah, having to really be honest with yourself is hard.
It's part of the process that you don't realize is the next step to, I mean, I hate saying it, but it really is like having an awakened mind.
It's
to
true.
have awareness.
That's what awakening is. It is self-awareness, and it's interesting how many levels of self-awareness there are, because the mind really does protect itself. The mind can't handle that much honesty at all times.
Oh, no.
We would have mental breakdowns.
I've actually have said to you quite a few times, like, thank God that happened within like a 3-year span, because I think I would have gone into psychosis or something.
Yeah. I mean, I talked earlier about leaving the Mormon church. Okay, so that level of honesty, that was a lot for me at the time. That felt like my whole world had imploded. I couldn't imagine also seeing the reality of my family patterns on top of that, seeing the reality of my marriage. Like, these were things that had to happen in stages over the course of several years, because sometimes we do have to be able to function and sleep and eat and take care of children and go to work.
Yeah. I was just thinking about like going back to the
constantly in ego death.
No, you cannot. You cannot do it. Like
that would lead to psychosis.
It would, your mind. And we have like a fly bugging us, and I'm like, God.
Speaking of not letting go, fly, it is that season where the flies need to die, and the cold is coming in, and they get really frantic and obnoxious.
They're so annoying. We're like,
just let go, just die.
Just die. You're gonna die. So, but yeah, I was thinking about how, like, going back to the joy and happiness, and how it's hard to like let it come in again, because I'm like, well, I'm so glad I'm feeling this, but is it safe to open up my heart and like kind of open up and blossom and let this come in, because I know that winter can come again.
Well, it's not, and winter will come again.
It will.
It's part of the pattern. But not only is it a brave act for you to do. It is an essential act because you see a stark difference in adults, in individuals who have not allowed their heart to open up versus the ones who have. It is a courageous act to allow joy in again, but it also is what keeps you from becoming bitter.
I was just going to say, you can choose either
from becoming jaded, from becoming hard, from becoming toxic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like this grace of going through like these awful, painful things and also keeping a soft heart that's willing to blossom and open.
Oh, well, it sounds so much easier when you say it like that.
It sounds very poetic, but it's actually a warrior's task.
It is. I mean, I've like felt the bitterness come in a few times. I'm like, well,
oh yeah.
Well, I'm not going to do this because then this will happen.
I know. I felt it too. I mean, because it was just one thing after another. And then when they started, I felt like I was being asked to sacrifice my kids too in this process because of what was happening with the divorce.
Yeah.
The bitterness wanted to come in so bad. I was like, oh no, I've given up everything. Don't ask me to give up this too.
Well, I know. Well,
and I just wanted to be angry at the world. And I was for a little while.
And it's okay. I mean, you can't deny
I shook my empty branches at the sky.
Yeah. You can't deny the phase of being angry. Like you should be angry too. That's part of the entire grieving process.
Dan, we could do a whole podcast on anger and how essential anger is and how sick we become when we repress it.
And we've been, I know little boys are taught like not to cry, but it's almost okay for them to become angry because they're
little boys aren't allowed to cry. Girls aren't allowed to be angry.
Yeah, we're not allowed to be angry. But you know what? If you don't let that anger out, it just turns into that bitterness.
It's your warrior's cry.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have some kind of self-preservation, some kind of like, I deserve better. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I found that for me, it was just like this process of feeling all the feelings, including anger, and then allowing myself to find joy, even though the world was this dark, cruel place. The world is horrific. There are horrific things in the world. A lot of them that we don't even see because how sheltered our life has been here in the States. But there is a darkness in this world and we all come up against it. And how do we choose joy even when the sky is without stars? How do you find the light within you? And that is what separates the victims from the free women.
It is. Well, I think that's the thing that the darkness in the world is trying to fight against or try to show you.
It's telling you that there's no point.
There's no hope.
There's hanging on to your light.
Yeah. But that's the thing they can't take away is that willpower and that choice to have joy.
It's something that even survivors of the prison camps in World War II have talked about, and how there was a clear division between people who surrendered to the hopelessness or even the darkness where they would abuse each other, and people who chose to keep their humanity, to keep their light.
So, free woman, you have a choice. And what is it going to be? Choosing that light?
Choosing yourself? Or letting them win. It doesn't matter how dark your life has become, because even survivors of the Holocaust found a way to hang on to their light. So it's a choice, and it is a choice that you have the freedom to make.
Well, I'm choosing the light.
And I am too. And you know what? I think that you're worth choosing the light as well.
Remember to like and subscribe.